Alright, we're here to record one of the alternatives, ADSB exchange from back in the day. And the reason I went to FlightAware slash pyAware was because you had your own local tracking and you didn't have anything that was going to expose anybody at any level, especially when you see 620 FB flying around. So, and no, I never planned or managed to be, on the top of some of them search results for YouTube for certain keywords like pyModeS, but obviously nobody's doing any programming in those languages nowadays anymore. And I'm an old Perl programmer, script kiddie from back in the days. And I just wanted to show you some of the alternatives that are out there. This being one of them, ADSB Exchange. I've known about it for a good while, but most of my data doesn't go out. In fact, 99.9% of my data stays to a visual. It does not go out to any. I'm not flight feeding anything. I'd rather have the virtual radar server storing all the data so that it can be scoped, because there's plenty of information out there. There's plenty of ADSB systems already out there that are doing all the tracking for me now. Back in the day when I started in Morristown, there were not. There was no flightradar24.com. As far as none of the aircraft that were going over our area were on flightradar24.com, as I had to explain that to the feds. And the stuff they were doing was being obscured, or it was obscured from the public view. No one ever got to see it. So that's why I became a tracking of, for aircraft, just because I wanted to show these guys, hey, this is the FAA non-corrupt. We give them the data, boom, we got blown off. And then we got attacked by more aircraft. Plus, learning with ADSB scope, or not ADSB scope made me appreciate having pyWare. Yeah, ADSB scope was the original program for back in the day for watching the airplanes on, and it's nothing compared to what's, pyWare or something of that nature. pyWares are awesome. Those flight tracking pyWare systems are the bee's knees. Radar. Somebody asked. They had a question. They said, "What do you track with? dump1090 FlightAware, GitHub, and just regular standard RTL dongles. Nothing fancy. Something, what, 15, 20 bucks can track aircraft. And to me, as a hobbyist and electronic person, I think it's pretty awesome. Most other people, they find it boring. They have better things to do, like, social media. But RadarBox $24. Yeah, RadarBox is the one for military. I recommend for military tracking if need be. Because if it doesn't show up on RadarBox, then obviously they don't want you seeing it. And dump1090 can see good 99% of the traffic. You will run into 1% that cannot be seen. I run into them from time to time where you see the aircraft flying above you, but there's nothing on any website, and there's nothing on the dump1090 system of that aircraft actually being there. That's what we noticed. So henceforth, while we put it in the database, so all the call signs can go straight into the database. I don't care. Don't care for all the custom military call signs. That's their business. I noticed their virtual radar server does not track some of the newer call signs, just because obviously, a hyphen in the call sign, or in the registration, definitely throws a lot of the programs off, including pyModeS, which hopefully in the future I will correct. The call signs, with the hyphen being in the call sign. I mean, it's pretty crazy to see that. Some of the most recent software out there, nobody talks about this stuff, which I think it should be like headline news, especially when you're using pyModeS and ADSB. And it helped me also learn the dump1090 dump structure on port 30002, or 30,002, and how to decode it, and and by the way, don't use MLAT if you're going to try to decode this with local stuff. So in other words, if you're going to use a local AVR raw dumper, it will, don't use the MLAT. That's all I can tell you, because none of the scripts or none of the programs support the MLAT translations or decoding as of yet. I have not seen anything. And I generally do not record the ICOAs or the IDs of these aircraft, just because it's pretty sensitive information to be out there. Here on the website, nobody cares. ADSB Exchange is publicly available for anybody. But if you're going to try to track something long term, this would be the one, and you can see exactly how much air traffic we're dealing with. Damn, cancer, jeez. But no, RadarBox for military tracking. I'll do some of the pyModeS in the future, decoding, showing people how to use the Python on any platform, it doesn't matter, and to track stuff locally. And keep in mind, part of learning how pyModeS worked, or how it decodes and stuff, also helps you understand how aircraft talk and how much they talk, and you can appreciate that, especially when you're tracking them. Morristown, when we were up at 35 feet, we were tracking roughly around 233 aircraft per second. Now that we're just running a rinky-dink antenna, we're 5, 10 aircraft. So it's nothing like the old days, because we were tracking 5 borders. Mexico, we could see all the way down into the Baja Peninsula. We could track Texas, New Mexico, not Texas, New Mexico, California, Nevada, and Utah. So that's how far the system could see. Or 35-foot antenna properly, talking to all the airplanes. Wow, it was incredible. So yeah, if you have any questions when it comes to the pyModeS or stuff like that, this is why I'm putting this under there, because I noticed that there are only 2 videos that came up under pyModeS, and I'd figure, hey, why not make a 3rd one along with ADSB Exchange? Other people wanted to know how to track certain stuff, and this is one of the other ones we've known about for a good while. Just be careful when you provide data. That's all I could tell you, is that any person who watches and has watched aircraft since 2016, just because of what's been going on, especially with the geoengineering, get you, let's put it this way, a lot of people watch. Nice part is, at least I can say somebody else gave Elon Musk a hard time besides me, in his $77 million jet. The strange things you capture in life. So, but like I said, Python is a pretty straightforward language. I'm using Windows 7. You could use Windows XP. Doesn't matter the platform. The coding is pretty much the same. As my boss once told me, if you can code in one language, you can pretty much code in all of them. And he was right. Java, C++, C#, and stuff of that nature. They just make a lot of more work, try catches, and make your life more difficult. But Python, I have to give credit to, because it's pretty straightforward, simple, and it's coming from the Perl land, it's a little different, because in Perl you can just pretty much type anywhere. In Python, you have to pay attention to your indents, or however you structure the script file. That's the only biggest pain in the butt. Capturing errors, try catches are pretty easy, but like I said, on the pyModeS, the only thing we're decoding right now is the call sign and the ADSB signal itself, because I'm saying I've relied, hey, there's an ID code that these guys are all using, and it's pretty much the same, and how much they talk, needless to say, or how much microwave chirping is being used, or PRF as we call it. But like I said, if you have any questions on pyModeS, Python, Perl, I would be the person for understanding, especially if you want to track aircraft, down at the custom level. We're sockets development, developers, so we know how to get down to the TCP and UDP structures and do our decoding, and then we let other databases and other programs do all of our work. But other than that, pyModeS, let me bring that up for you, because it'll probably get very popular in the future. And it's on GitHub. They're updating it, maintaining it. And let me tell you, it works awesome. What you can do with pyModeS is pretty incredible. We're using just a local pip install versus you can use the custom developed files. But it makes you appreciate having to look up databases or no databases and SQL search results and having to meld everything together. But that's what I use, just command line, just for my own hobby sake. There's no, no secret, stuff going on, no secret government, no secret squirrel type stuff, just general tracking. In the future, I guarantee you, though, that other languages would be, used to talk to the system versus just what I've noticed here is beast mode doesn't transmit nowhere near the call signs that the raw call sign structure looks like. So in other words, the data coming out of port 30,002 has a lot more data than the beast mode, the base station, generic stuff. So if you were going to be tracking a little bit more, what we'll call in-depth, you know, the raw or AVR format or the raw format coming from port 30002, right, 30,002 is the one to be staring at. What else can I tell you? Like I said, if you have any questions and stuff like this, you can see where it's at. It's, you know, public structure. It's out there. It's just not talked a lot. And you can see it's only got, what, 2,360 results on Google. I mean, come on, boo. There should be a lot more people out there doing this stuff instead of just a handful of folk, you know, just like the other structures and stuff of that nature. A lot more other people need to be paying attention. So other than that, if you have any questions, like I said, leave your comments and suggestions down below. Be nice. Catch you later. And hopefully you'll all have a good Thanksgiving, post-Thanksgiving. Have a good day.